welcome back to Optimize Health, where we're making easy, healthy, and delicious meals. Today we are going to make a flatbread that is keto, low carb, and gluten-free. We're going to make it with a really wonderful winter spice blend. It's Za'atar. And this is a blend that I bought in this already blended formula from Trader Joe's. But if you wanted to make your own, it's typically comprised of different ratios of oregano, thyme, or margarine, and sumac, as well as ground sesame seed. It depends on the region where it's coming from and some personal preferences as to what the ratios are. But I did want to do this recipe today because it's a great one for winter. It's a warm and a comfort food. You should talk to your doctor, healthcare provider, or veterinarian to see if any of these recipes, suggestions, or contents of these videos are right for you. Nothing contained in these videos are intended to be taken as medical advice. Use at your own risk. That we're doing a low-carb version of. We're going to use a cauliflower crust and my proprietary flour blend, which is very low carb. And some of the health benefits are really phenomenal with Za'atar. A lot of these benefits come from the oregano and thyme. And you could also throw in some fresh oregano and thyme if you have it for some of the added benefits and the phenolic acids and oils that are present normally in these herbs. So this would include thymol and carvacrol, which are these oils. Thymol has been shown to help suppress cough, and I thought that would be really helpful this time of year. It also boosts immunity, again useful for now in the winter, as well as these antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits. May also help with blood pressure and blood sugar control. And there's also antiviral, antifungal, and even anti-cancer benefits. So you have a lot packed in these little ground herbs, and we're happy to share this recipe with you. I've started with about 1 cup of proprietary flour blend. I'm going to use, for what we're making today, another a cup of our rice cauliflower. And so it's a 1-to-1 ratio. The proprietary blend is a blend of almond flour based. So it's low carb, a little bit higher fat. I've also already sauteed or just cooked up some ground beef. You can use whatever toppings you'd like. This dish is also really good with just the Za'atar. So we just wanted to boost the protein since we're already getting a lot of good veggies with this cup of cauliflower, as well as the fiber that's found in cauliflower and almond flour. And so I just kind of going to blend this up. I put a little extra leavening in, a little extra baking powder, and just to complement this dish, I'm going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon of oregano and about a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme, about 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, along with a few dashes of black pepper that's ground. So I'm usually trying to keep this a simple cooking process. I'm going to make this completely stovetop. I need to transfer this out so I can use this to make our crust. So I'm just going to grab a little bowl and put this meat in here for now. I've kept the heat on low, so our pan is going to get hot again really quick. I'm using a ceramic pan, which is a natural non-stick, so we have mostly non-stick. Usually this pan does work really well. I'm gonna heat up this olive oil for our flatbread. And I'm gonna turn up the heat to about between medium and low. So that should cook at a good rate. For this volume of 2 cups of ingredients, I'm going to add 2 medium to small or small to medium sized eggs. Just the whole egg. And I also have some cilantro here. I love cilantro. It's got added benefits of, so I'm gonna chop this up really quick. It's got some added benefits in addition to the other herbs we're using. It does help with mineral and chemical detoxification. Since I do eat a lot of dark chocolate, because of dark chocolate, you know, the benefits of it, knowing that there can be some heavy metals that are naturally occurring. So it's not like it's a contaminant or an additive, but just because of the way chocolate is made, it can concentrate some of these heavy metals, which may be a little too much for our body. So to help the detoxification process, helping the liver and kidneys to process these metals and to conjugate them and add different compounds to the molecules so that they can actually become biosoluble. They go into the intestinal tract or they go out through the urine and are excreted instead of staying in the body and potentially causing that deleterious effect. So that's a good herb. Wherever we can fit this in, we're going to be trying to use more cilantro. Let me get my second egg in here. All right, it's looking good. It's a good doughy consistency. And what you'll need for this recipe is the finely ground or riced cauliflower, and then a 1-to-1 ratio of whatever low carb flour blend that you want to use, 2 eggs, and about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and whatever seasoning you want to add to your dough and your topping. This flatbread base can be used for a lot of different, whatever sort of toppings you want to put. I'm going to shape this in the pan and allow it to cook. So I'm going to make 2 out of this. I'm going to show you guys 1, and then we have more, about half left over to make another one. We can do a different topping if we want, or we may make the same. We'll see what we want to do. It might be nice if you're going to cook up some veggies as a topping to saute them separately, and then you can add them once the flatbread is cooked. So I like to just press it down kind of loosely, not being too particular, because it may not firm up the exact shape that we want it. We end up a lot of times with our low carb cooking to either cook or bake the baked good or the bread in a container that has the shape that the desired final product would be. Or if you're kind of lazy and you're going to cook it like I do on the stovetop, it's really quick and simple. Once I flip this, it's going to be messy. It's going to come apart probably a little bit, but we'll flip it, reshape it, and then it'll be cooked through in a few minutes. We'll plate it and shape it on the plate, and as it cools down, then it becomes a little more firm and we'll keep its shape. So it may not come out looking perfect or be as cohesive as typical like wheat bread is, because it doesn't have gluten. And gluten is one of these really stretchy proteins, and we need to avoid it for our gut health. So we're just going to have to compromise a little bit on the appearance of some of the foods, but I promise you they're delicious, and it's going to end up in small bits going down. So I'm not too worried about it breaking up a little bit in the process. So I'm just going to let this cook probably about, I'm trying to do a smaller one so that it'll be a little quicker, but this may take 5 minutes on each side. So in the meantime, I'm going to, we are giving our co-chef tips in chips today. And he's also not wearing his hat, but let me see if I can get that on him. Persimmon, would you like to wear your hat? Would you like to help me today? You want to wear your hat and eat your chips? Yeah. And do you want a treat? Good boy. Good boy. Okay. There you go, boo-boo. He loves potato chips. We try to encourage him to exercise when we have carbs. So some of the other things we'll be looking at are getting some more feedback from you guys. I did get a comment that someone's looking for a protein pancake and waffle mix. I think that's going to be a really good one because I've done a little bit of experimentation. I'm trying to find, I guess, what do you say, like refine this process to see if I can get a protein pancake that's as high as possible in protein. I'm using a whey protein, and it needs to be not as sticky. A lot of times it's sticking to even the nonstick pans. And also the other challenge is it not staying together well. So what I've found is having more egg, almost like if you were making a crepe, that will help it stick together no matter what you use as flour. As you see with this recipe, we're using 2 eggs, a little more egg to help with that. And then just trying to find the ratio of protein, like how to really push the limit. I didn't do great with about half protein. So I'm going to try about 30% protein and see how that goes. And so the ratio would be a 1 part protein to 2 parts the proprietary flour blend, and that would keep our carbs pretty low and put the protein per typical pancake maybe upwards of like 6 to 8 grams. And if you had 2 or 3 pancakes, that would be a pretty good size, protein load to help stimulate your growth synthesis and mTOR for growth and repair and utilization of the protein as opposed to just using it as fuel, or how the gut will take when we eat protein. If we're not eating at least 30 or 40 grams each time that we're eating protein, the gut will often take a lot of that, and it will take its toll or its fee, first, and the rest of the body won't get enough to actually trigger mTOR and all of the benefits of growth promotion. And although some people are worried about, like, mTOR sounds scary because it's been associated with cancer, and it's associated with any kind of growth. And when you're looking at natural, normal growth and repair in a healthy person who is, controlling their diet and their health as best they can, it's not the same as someone who is having a dysregulated metabolism and maybe more at risk for developing cancer, and they're, setting off their mTOR is a lot more detrimental, because repair and synthesis and growth is actually a normal part of the entire lifespan. We're always needing to grow and to heal something. So anyway, that's hopefully enough information about that. But that's why we're trying to keep our recipes low carb to help with metabolic and mitochondrial health, which, the main point in metabolic health is mitochondrial health, and having a lower carb diet, having controlled carbs, having carb cycling with if you're female, your menstrual cycle, or if you're male, kind of having a feedback from listening to your body and figuring out when you need to add carbs into your diet and when you can back off. So, for example, for men, that obviously they're not cycling through hormones like women, but they might consider their higher carb days when they're working out harder, and their lower carb days the other days, or if they're working a busy work week, that might not be the days that they really need as many carbs because their muscles aren't using it. So those are some things to think about. But I'm also looking at doing a few more recipes and open to suggestions for different low, moderate carb meals that you guys would like to see. Particularly for us women who are cycling, we would want to include these during the ovulatory phases, like pre-ovulation parts of the cycle, and then also premenstrual parts of the cycle, to help with just providing the body enough carbs to support like thyroid function, as well as the promotion of the progesterone hormone, which is really critical for for you to be able to support your post-ovulatory portion of your cycle and have a more normal period, have a more normal time span between ovulation and getting your bleeding period. So it's not like if you have a low progesterone level, you might have cycles that are shorter, like instead of being 28 days, they might be 21, or shorter days, and that just means more of that part of the cycle you don't really want. So if you can kind of get more into a normal time frame where it's like 28, 30 days, that really can help with keeping your iron stores up naturally, not having to worry so much about that. And also progesterone's really helpful with mood and anxiety prevention or control, as well as sleep. So those are some things that are really critical for us to stay healthy. And another thing with the carb cycling is to be able to make enough serotonin, which will also help with mood and sleep. And it also helps with production of GABA, a neurotransmitter that helps to calm us. And again, back to anxiety symptoms. So this bread is obviously in pieces, but we flipped it to the best of our ability. And you see it's lightly browned. It's definitely cooked well on that one side. So now I'm going to reshape it. So I like to use this big one to flip, because get the biggest spatula you can, and then you can make bigger flatbreads, bigger pizzas and breads. But this little one is really good for shaping. And so we'll reshape here. Flatten this down a bit. It doesn't have to be perfectly round. It can be square or whatever you're trying to do. And just going to let this cook a little more on this side. We're going to put our za'atar and olive oil on here. And that's going to be all the yummy goodness in just a second. So let's see if I can turn that up just a tiny bit. Okay. So I have my extra virgin olive oil ready. We're going to try to slide it onto a plate, and we'll see if we've improved our skills with that. It's a little bit of a, it's a learned skill, but it's worth learning. So this is what I'm going to put on top. I got this from Trader Joe's, and if you didn't catch in the beginning, the za'atar you can actually make yourself, and you can even use fresh herbs. You can use kind of whatever ratio blend that you want, but it will include oregano, thyme or marjoram, sumac, and ground sesame seeds. And just didn't open this yet. Okay, that's cooking up really nicely. We lost our co-star, honey. Where'd he go? Persimmon.
Did you just finish the video?
Persimmon. Boo-boo. Boo-boo. Percy.
Let's go. Go, Percy. Go, Percy.
Baby, it's time. Good boy. Thank you, honey. Thank you, honey. Oh, everybody wants to see you. Go cutie. Here, I got 2 more chips. Mm-hmm.
Oh, why should we turn it off? Did you say you'd be back?
Mm-mm, I'm done. We're just getting this olive oil on.
Yeah, 21 minutes.
We're getting this olive oil on, and we're gonna get the Za'atar. Oh, this looks so good. Can already smell the spices heating up. And then I'm gonna put this ground meat on top also. Help boost our protein level. Make it a true flatbread. Mm-hmm. You want some pumpkin? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm gonna put a little more olive oil. All right, I hear it cooking nice and sizzly here, so it's probably gonna be done in a second. And I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna do with the second one. I'll let you guys know if I come up with something that's really good. So the real trick here is to slide this out of the pan without it falling apart. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Not too bad. I could serve this to guests. It looks good. I know it's going to be delicious. So please let us know if you try the recipe, any comments that you have on it, or suggestions for improving. And please like, subscribe, and share if you love it. And we hope to see you next time. Thank you.